Mill Street. This is in Illinois somewhere. I forget exactly where. Just right close to St. Louis, Missouri, just across the river there. But anyway, Mill Street. Forget the name of the town. This is a non-performer, NPL, to a reperformer that I then sold. So a few moving parts here. This one was a lease option. And some people have heard me talk about that before. I buy lease option contracts as well, because I can get them at a good deal. And then I convert them to something that's more sellable. So I converted these guys to a contract for deed, a CFD. Really nice couple. And they were very willing to do that. And they saw all the benefits. And that was fantastic. So I bought this one for $27,500. Unpaid balance is $54,000. And it's really interesting when I go through with the borrowers and I compare the lease option contract to a contract for deed, and I show them how much money that they can save over time by converting to a percentage rather than a flat fee coming off of their monthly payment going towards principal. It's a no-brainer. It's a real easy conversation to have, and they jump on that because they see immediately, you mean I'm going to save how much money and I'm going to pay off my house that much faster? Oh my goodness. So a real easy thing to convert. I haven't had really any issues with that. Once this was converted, I sold it to another investor as a reperforming note for $39,000. Plus I'd already received $3,500 in income. Overall, $25,000 profit on a 43% return. That's great. And love it when that happens. Again, these are not the deals we see every day, but it happens.
Yeah.
Time frame on this one. This was right around a year, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it was right around a year. But it takes time. All these things take time. It's nice to think that you can just, wrap it all up in a month, but it takes time.
Yeah.
So get used to it. This was kind of the plan from the beginning. One of the things we're able to do that worked really well is I increased the interest rate, and kind of sort of, because they didn't actually have an interest rate before because it was a lease option. So because I was converting it, I was able to set it. I believe we set it at like 9%, which makes it very attractive to sell off to somebody else. And so I did not have to take a ginormous discount in order to sell it.
Sure.
So, that's another one. Again, doesn't happen all the time, and there's definitely work involved. It's not just a super easy get it all done in a month or two. It takes time, but it worked out very well in the end.
So we had a question from Jose on Facebook. This is streaming Facebook and LinkedIn, and will be recorded and sent to YouTube and our podcast as well. So the question from Jose is that his understanding that note holders decide when they decide to foreclose, that they're only entitled to the debt owed, not the property. So we're going to go a little bit more into able to keep the property in collecting debt at the foreclosure.
Yeah.
So thank you for asking that question. So when a note is created, it's secured by a secured debt, secured by a property. So the bank or us has the ability to recapture that security instrument, like your security of the loan, which is the property, and take it back. Now, if we go to foreclosure auction, right, and we can sell it for as much as up to the UP legal balance, which is UPB plus any additional costs like legal costs, as well as like back taxes and any kind of stuff like that. We can sell up to that number. We could add capital or cash and go higher if we chose to. Now, if it doesn't sell at the foreclosure auction, this is not for every state, for mine, like Ohio is a little different, but we won't get into that.
Right.
If in the state situation, if that goes to auction and no one bids on it, even if there's equity, which I've had situations when it happened, that loan goes to the highest bidder, which is the bank, because we set the minimum. Okay. We set the minimum, and we now are the quote unquote winners. Well, if there's equity or no equity, we get the property back.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of times when there's equity, it usually sells at the auction.
Yeah.
But not all the time. So yes, you can get the property back in a note foreclosure. You're taking the asset security, you're getting your money back, but you can. Now, if the asset sells higher, right, than the legal balance, the borrower actually can get that capital for themselves. There's some intricacies that goes along with that, but it can happen. So hopefully, Jose, that answered your question. Feel free to put in the chat if it any additional. So we're going to jump into my triple here.
So let me just comment on that real quick. So, and I know where Jose is coming from. That's exactly what I used to think, is like, this is a great way to get property. It can be. The more that I've gotten into notes, the more I realize I don't want the property. So I've had this many times where I'm going through foreclosure. Let's say the house is worth 100,000. What's owed to me is 120. I will try to, like, I can choose what my minimum bid is. So I would put it in at like 80 because I'm trying to gauge what's just enough equity that somebody will buy this at auction. Because I don't actually want to own the property. If I own the property, then I've got to get into it. Then I don't know what the condition is inside. I've got to deal with trashing it out at the very least. Property taxes have now become my problem. All these things that I don't want to deal with. So if I can work it so that I can just sell it at auction and never actually have to take possession of the house or ownership of the house, that's
liability.
Yeah.
I want to get rid of tenants, toilets, and turnovers, right? I don't want to be in that position. I lose appreciation, but at the same time, I'm becoming a bank. Banks are not landlords. They don't play that game. They borrow money for a cheaper rate. They usually take your money from a savings account, right? And they're giving you 4, but then they loan it out at 8 and do it over and over and over and over again, right? So you're welcome, Jose. It's a great question you have. We get this question quite often, and we're going to have more and more. We encourage you to check out DME in June if you're not attending to Nashville. We're gonna have a lot of owner finance and a lot of note buyers coming together. So hopefully, if you have questions about that, let us know.
And if you just want to learn more about notes, that's the place to be. DiversifiedMortgageExpo.com. Okay, go.
You got it. And we have an advanced training class coming in next week. That's another plug too. So anyway, let's go on. We're in the triple. We're into the outfield gap, right? Triple. So in this situation, we bought the note with the idea that we love the area. It's a great place for us. This is in Florida. And we knew the fact that we're going to get in a situation that was awesome because of a few reasons. When we look at the file, the seller of the note already got a deed in lieu done with the borrower, right? They already had non-merger language already done and was already in the process of foreclosing. So we picked up a loan in the middle of foreclosure that we own the property. Now we can rent it out. We can do anything we want because now we own it. Deed in lieu of foreclosure allows us to literally own the property deeded to us and not foreclose in their name. So it doesn't hurt them. We foreclose on ourselves, right? While we did that, we rehabbed it. Again, we rented it out as well. What an awesome situation that we can really go into and have a property. Now, deed in lieu foreclosure is not available in all states, right? We go into our advanced class which states are available or not, but it is. So this is in Florida, a place called Locust Ave. We purchased it knowing that it's in foreclosure, already established. We purchased it for $21,600. Our value on it was around $60,000. We ended up having $48,000 in expenses, which included fixing the house up.
Okay.
Right. However, the UPB was $100,000 at the when we bought it. We bought it based on the fact that we thought it would sell at auction, and we were hoping it wouldn't because we put some money into it, and we were kind of crossing our fingers.
Yeah.
But we wanted to rent it out while we foreclose on us. This process, this deal took 2 years to do. Just an idea. It wasn't fully through foreclosure. I had no judgment. It wasn't that far into it, but it was really interesting to get into this deal in the beginning of foreclosure, rent it out, make some money while we're foreclosing on it, have money coming in. It was a very weird shaped house too. So just like it was like an odd, long mini hallway, front was wide, middle hallway. It was just very odd. So yes, so we went ahead and we sold it. We finished up foreclosure, rented it out, and then we sold it for $120,000.
Nice.
Really sweet situation. We held it for 2 years.